Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome. Today we're going to be checking out two vastly different soundtracks, Digital Devil Saga and One Shot. These were both suggestions and requests from Fjord Explorer and Kali Torteo, both on Patreon. And we're going to start off with Digital Devil Saga today. It's going to be a pretty long, I would say a pretty long afternoon. Excuse me. But let's just dive right in, shall we? So we're going to start off. Digital Devil Saga was a sub-series of Atlus's Shin Megami Tensei franchise, long lost to the 2000s. This particular game is out of print, although with the re-release of Raido, I'm hoping Atlus eventually works their way towards these ones. This is part of a duology released in 2004 and 2005. The people of the junkyard must devour their foes to satiate their demonic hunger or risk going berserk. Underrated amongst the Shoji Meguro music, the soundtrack arguably contains his finest guitar work. Oh wow, think less acid jazz and more Steve Vai. Okay, cool. Let's dive in, shall we? This is Prey.
Light shines from the heaven. The Asa splits light blinks.
Hello.
Merit, open your eyes to the truth. Shanti, Shanti. 崩れ落ちる光る砂のかけらこの切ない痛み
I'm pretty sure this is the first one.
辛さを広げずに座って優しさにしがみつくかに外しあの日夢見た場所へ行こう I'm with you 遠回りしても決して振り向かず I'm you, you are me, forever. It's more than more.
You know, it's because we have so much to talk about today, I won't stop too much for non-analysis songs, and then for analysis songs, I'll probably stop 2 or 3 times. But the one thing I'll say, I actually liked that piece, but the singing was very flat, and it's like she couldn't reach the notes. And I don't think that's necessarily a problem because it can kind of be like thank you, Kramen. It can kind of be like a stylistic decision, but to me that that ain't it. I mean, it's not bad, and like the voice is very pure and very gentle, and there's like clearly like some sort of childish tendency in it, which I think works, but I think it's a little off-putting just because of how flat she goes in the chorus, especially. Like that could have used some auto-tune at the very least. It's okay. I mean, I think it's still, I think it does a good job of showcasing like, you know, SMT spinoff. You know, I've only played a little bit of Raido, so about, you know, 5 or so hours. So like I kind of get what it's going for. But to me, it kind of falls apart in the choruses. I do like the instrumentation, and I do also think that like stylistically, I can kind of see it as the sort of like dark, you know, broody sort of thing that maybe exists within the music. So I don't want to like totally say that it's bad because it probably is a stylistic choice, but it's certainly very flat. There's a reason for it, but explaining it would be a major spoiler. Really? Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's check out Chaos, the main menu theme. That's interesting. It's interesting how dangerous that sounds. Well, I guess it's called Chaos. That makes sense. Digital Devil Saga follows the Embryon, a tribe who fight against 5 other tribes in a digital world called the Junkyard. And this is the track called Tribal War. Is this only on PS2? It looks like yes. Wow, that's funky. I like that. That's heavy. That has a real strong emphasis to it. I actually like that quite a bit. That you hear the intensity in it with the momentum, obviously, and then I really like that SMT sort of grunge that we get in this. It's obviously very serious and very like desperate. It's nice. Seraphita the Cyber Shaman. Okay. I love the space in that. The mystery within the upper notes. It reminds me of the Velvet Room, actually, but more fucked up. Interesting dissonance there, which causes a little bit more tension, you know? It's a reinterpretation of the Velvet Room, but that's for Seraphita the Cyber Shaman. That's really interesting. I wonder if it's connected, or she's connected to the Velvet Room. Anyway, Embryon, archaic noun form of embryo. That's interesting. It's almost like the embryo is trying to burst through, so you get this real strong hit. Huh. Muladhara, and I'll be stopping a couple times during this. Minnesota Fats, Pool Legend fans of the world unite. Those who know. Muladhara is the first of 7 chakras representing earth and stability located at the base of the spine. I wish mine would fucking start working again. Here we go. So I like this for a couple different reasons. One is how sparse it is, right? So I want to just go back and reread what you wrote here, because Muladhara is the first of the 7 chakras. So I don't necessarily know what the context is, because it's sort of amorphous in a way. But what I really like about this is it's melody forward. It doesn't feel quite so vibey, even though it also has this really wonderful sort of filled out sense of a forward momentum. Now it's interesting because it's forward momentum, but it's slow. It's very, very, very akin to like something that we would hear, in the thousands, which I suppose is around when this came out. Anyway, 04, 05. So like it has that almost like Nickelback, not quite Pearl Jam, but I'm bad with these bands, but you know what I mean? There's a sound almost like Red Hot Chili Peppers, kind of. That melody line is really interesting to me because it feels like the melody itself is propelling us into taking action of something, right? Da 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 ya. Let me just play this really quick because it's really good. Right here. Right there. It's almost like saying like, okay, here's the circumstances. What do I do with these? Well, I have to take action, right? And so it's kind of like cool and relaxed and chill. I wonder what the gameplay is here, but even just as a piece of music, what I really like about it is that it's constantly moving, but not in a fast, frenetic pace, but in a very cool and poised way. It's very consistent. You know what I mean? But also, it's also cool because the melody line there, if you notice, the melody line kind of just goes off on its own and is doing the same thing that it does. But what's interesting is that underneath you have the chords supporting it, right? And that's like something that we talk about a lot, is the idea that like in order for the guitar, the melody line guitar to move and have do its thing, it has to be supported by the bass. In this particular case, you hear it, just as a quick example. So we're playing essentially like the root of the chord, or the tonic chord, the chord that like sort of keeps us home, and we move with the guitar so that it has this cohesion throughout the entire piece, and it really does feel very calm and cool but poised. It's not lazy, you know. It doesn't sit back on itself. It's really nice. That's a great little tune. That's a really good tune. That's such a vibe piece. I really liked that. Piece. Hey, thanks, Inquisitor. Appreciate it. Let's take out Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana, also called the sacred chakra, is the second primary chakra according to Hindu Tantrism. This chakra is said to be blocked by fear, especially the fear of death. Svadhisthana. Really nice instrumentation there. Hold on, I have to switch accounts, so it might lapse here. Yeah, it lapsed. You know, just as a side, it feels to me like this might be recorded live. There's something about this that feels very human. It has like a sort of roundness that you hear in live recordings, which is really nice. The way the cymbals and some of this percussion clashes. You know, I'm going to stop one more time and just say, you know what's funny is that this is what I wish Persona's music sounded like. When I say that, there's something about it that is so similar to Persona, obviously, right? But like it in a way, this is funny because I've been trying to articulate myself about Persona and how I feel about it. I've been listening to Persona 5 a lot recently. because I historically I really don't care for it. Like there are the slower tracks. In fact, even today I made a tweet that I was like, I just listened. I literally today I listened to the entirety of Persona 5 from top to bottom again. This is the second time now because I'm like percolating over why don't I like this sound. And what I find interesting is that this is very cool because it like takes the parts of Shoji's compositional style that I really like, and it feels it kind of like lingers in the slow elements of it. Because like I find now that I've re-listened to Persona 5 soundtrack again, all of the super funky acid jazz stuff I really don't like. It's such a turn off. And I think part of it's because I grew up with that sound from my dad. And so I associate it with like being forced to listen to like Jamiroquai or like some of these other bands. Whereas this, God, I wish my dad was alive because this is the kind of shit that my dad would really like. It's just so good. It has this like warmth to it. And also it's in some ways, rather than talking about contextual clues and stuff musically, what it ends up producing is this quality of it's vibe. It's all vibe. It's all. I mean, I'm sure it'll pick up in a bit, but like for the majority of it, the sound is very like smooth, relaxed, but confident and poised. It's very interesting to me. And it's very similar to the soundscape of Persona 5. And again, a little bit less Persona 3 Reload, not really, and a little bit of Persona 4, but it's interesting how like it crosses the barrier between the SMT sound and the Persona sound. Really, really, really neat. It's just neat. I like it. Shots fired? No. Let's see, but if even that, there's a melody in it that's front and center that is but still like it's not so in your face. And I think that's part of it for me. Like Last Surprise, Life Will Change, Rivers in the Desert, like they're sort of on you. Whereas this is a little bit dialed back, and not that they're really comparable anyway, so forgive me, but it's this is the second bit of Shoji I've listened to today, so I feel like I've got this frame of reference. Like it's super pared back, and it has a movement, it has a tempo pace that's fairly brisk, but it doesn't overload you. It's not like a sensory attack. There's not like a bunch of strings and sharp jaggedness and it's a very pared down instrumentation. Like, yeah, it's very chill. I very much like this, Fjord. I really like that. And there was some jazz organ in there that also was not irritating to listen to. Hideout of the Chickens. Let's head into the theme of the first dungeon. Okay. You have my attention with that name. It's great. Nice doubling there. Man, see, that's like 2 minutes. I could have listened to that for another 10. That's really fucking good. Sahasrara, or the crown chakra, is considered the 7th primary chakra. It is from this chakra that all other chakras emanate. I also love this like Hinduism approach here. This is very interesting. Jesus Christ, that's so good. They're just short enough to like want you leaving you wanting more. Junkyard, okay, a land of eternal rain where the clouds never stop crying and the blood never stops flowing. Fjord, excellent notes there for me. I appreciate that very much. Yeah. The digital sound here. wasn't crazy about that piece. It was very repetitive, and it didn't. I mean, I know what it was doing. It's like there's a little bit of loss and bleakness in the strings and stuff. Kind of was. I don't really like the crunchy sound. I'm not crazy about that sound. Atma. DDS's version of Persona Archetype Awakening. Atma is a virus that grants an affected human an ability to transform into a demonic Atma avatar. I do like this in Persona. Yeah, I love how sharp that is. Dum 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 shut dum shut them. Oh, that's it? No. Ooh. Oh, I love this percussion. Fuck. I love how it builds from that percussion, though. The percussion is the root of it. It's like almost like the heartbeat of it, you know? Cool. Yeah, I like that piece. Again, so many of these are vibe pieces more than they are like emotionally investigative pieces. Manipurna. Manipurna is the third primary chakra behind the navel. It is a virus that grants an affected human the ability to transform into... No, I'm sorry. Third chakra behind the navel. This chakra is associated with fire and the power of transformation. Mood. Man. It's fucking gorgeous, dude. Like, that's such a sick, simple, repetitive. I mean, what a mood. Anahata is the 4th primary chakra located at the heart. It's just chakras associated with balance, calmness, and serenity. Really intrigued by this. I wasn't crazy about that piece. I really don't like jazz organ too much, but it was nice. I mean, Operation. Well, that was Anahata, right? Okay, so that was about. That's funny though, because it says 4th located at the heart chakras associated with balance, calmness, and serenity, but nothing about that was that. Operation. Remember this leitmotif. It will be relevant later. You got it. Love the tension build up in the strings like that. Okay. Sonic Wave. Bat, the holder of the Sonic Wave Atma. What's up as we sort of dip and dip and dip and dip? Okay. Must repeat. Steel Coffin. Exploration of an abandoned ship, the only dungeon in the game that cannot be revisited. Huh. It feels like a coffin. You're in a coffin exploring it. I love that. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, and I think the tension probably comes through on the pop 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 yeah pop 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 yeah. I want to see how this goes for the second movement. Is the headliner for this OST? Oh, really? But let's give Kenshi Tsuchiya props for this banger. Shoji Meguro is the headliner of this piece. Okay. Crazy tension. Crazy tension. That piece is okay. That piece is okay. I wasn't crazy about that piece. I felt like I would have liked for it to go. See, it's interesting because we've had a lot of momentum, and each of these pieces have mostly been vibes, but they don't always have melodic drive, which I think is something that I really feel drawn to naturally. Like a melody line really kicks, right? And I mean, it works. I mean, they're all really good. But I'm certain of them. I'm not. They kind of, if they don't go anywhere too far, my brain starts to tune out. Any sewer level is manageable when your OST is this cool. This is River of Samsara. This is the sewer name. Interesting. Yeah, really dug that. And see, that had a real distinct, even though it had a lot of rhythm, it had a distinct movement and a distinct melody line that's singable, right? And that's the thing that I think really helps us clue into like latching on to a piece of music, you know? I really, really like that. What a vibe. Sweet Home Prelude, a slight hint of danger. I like that slight little whisper, like something's coming, you know? Huh, it's very subtle. Oh, sweet home. The dungeon's called the Brute's Base. It's interesting hearing it like expand outward, you know? Yeah, that's beautiful. Really powerful, too. Asura. The digital world constructed under the Asura project. Whoa! See, that's got some bite to it. This place is super fucked up. Oh, that's it. Okay. Spider's String. Our leitmotif returns. The Moonlight Sonata goes rock. Oh, fuck. Is this? Wait. Huh. Oh, man, that's cool. dude. Oh my god, I love the way that it lingers. It's so painful, isn't it? That's really nice. Again, very pulled back though. You know what I mean? Like, oh man. That's really cool. All right, we got ourselves a 7-minute sucker here. Spider string second movement. We'll be doing some stopping and starting. This 4-part song represents 4 dungeon areas evolving as you ascend. So you get the danger in here with that. Well, that's the movement. And then here, the strings, that's the danger. Whoa. Right? Sort of like the apprehension before the thing, you know? And that repetition sort of builds up the sense of like, oh my god, we got to do this. You know, it's like everything kind of falls apart in a way. It's like a ticking time bomb. Now we spring into action a little bit. Things start to build. We're just stacking on top of each other at this point, doubling down. Adding an electric guitar gives it a little extra sense of danger and stress in that. Some regular guitar strum. Okay. And also, if it's like a swelling of a wave, you know, there's like a moment of tension and then we pull back. The rhythm is actually home base. almost like that strum guitar is almost like a conversation amongst our colleagues and friends, you know? Big shift. Now we're articulating individual notes instead of long lines. Still the same structure, but now it's split up into notes. There's a sense of strength in it too. Never stopping, never giving up, never surrendering. Now there's no peace, there's no sense of respite. Even this, we go back to big chords. Hey Mia, thanks for the raid. So it's repetitive. Ooh. Friday evening. So it's interesting. Hold on. Let me pause here and just talk about that really quickly, because I really like how then once we get to this third phase, the guitar comes in, and that's when we have this thing where we're up against the wall and there's no turning back in that moment. Ba-da-ya-da-ya-da. Like that guitar taking over and taking off is the moment that we say, you know what, enough is enough. We've been doing this over and over and over and over and over and over and over for 7 minutes. We have to release. We have to do this. We have to fight. We have to, finally put our feet down and say enough is enough. Right. And I think it's interesting how the guitar takes over, or that's when the big bad shows up and all of a sudden you're in a direct conflict. But even still, the mentality there is like, OK, this is enough. We have to stand our ground. I really like that. And then listen to that. Yeah, it does this super nice slide. Oh, thanks, Kagugo. Yeah, definitely can do it at some point. Appreciate that. Especially 4. I need to play 5, to be honest. It's a nice sound, though. I like that. It's very repetitive, obviously. It has a lot of movement. It kind of is very stodgy in a way. It's very, very dense. But at the same time, it's like super simple. It's just, obviously, this is an ascent, some sort of climb. I'm imagining like an elevator with constant battle, right? There's a movement there. But it really does just kind of do its thing. And then finally, it's head to head, Ajna. Ajna, the 6th primary chakra, but the Western world knows it better by the name of the third eye. Do, 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 do. See again, but here's another example. Like here's a very subtle melody, and yet the vibes here are just exceptionally good. You know, it still has grunge. It still has a bit of that, like, you know, that 2000s vibe, and yet the melody's kind of like broken hearted in a way. You know. Nice piece. Really nice piece. Hunting Field. A chill banger for the Maribel base dungeon. But it has, it's very hammery, isn't it? Da-da. Da-da. Very hip focused. Cha-da. 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 Damn. Sha-da-da-dum. Sha-da-da-dum. The melodies are so subtle. A little bit of repetition there. Thanks for giving me a bite the shout out there, Kremen. Da-da. Da-da. I love that. It's interesting because it's very industrial. It's very industrial, very busy, and yet it's like a chill vibe. It's fascinating. All right, let me hear this second movement here. Okay, we have a speed up in tempo, classic. Sick. Meatball. I could not include this song. You're damn right you couldn't. Meatball. Sounds like me. But then hi, Mark. Cute. Man's Tomb. Another batch of dungeon themes. Mind the statues. Hey, Chengy, what's up? Meatball. I already listened to this. Man's Tomb Prelude. Super subtle, right? Super slow and steady. Naturally, we're having a build up. Let me listen to the next one. Huh, that's good. That's a nice pivot. Dun, dun, dun. It's interesting how these dungeon themes end up being really relaxed and more so just like, again, what I find really interesting about this whole soundtrack with 15 tracks left to go is how essentially it's fairly stable throughout the entire thing. There's not this like aggressiveness per track. And in fact, if anything, there's a degree of vibe check for every single one where we can almost default to easy listening or like dialed back. It's not in your face. It's a very different sound than what I think we're used to hearing now, where now everything tends to be very big, or it's certainly very jagged, where things are different per track. It's very interesting to have this like pulled back thing. Let's listen to the second movement. I assume it's going to pick up all the way here. Yeah, I mean, again, just faster, but I mean, essentially, it doesn't really deviate too hard from what it was originally doing. The theme of the hunt. Blade. Whoa. Hey there. What a pivot. In truth, it's interesting because it actually sounds like a hunt. There's a couple musical gestures in there. Brow, 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 brow. It almost feels like something being chased, or like a big cat, right? But then this whole thing, ba 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 bum, ba 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 ba, this being hunted down. It's really interesting. Wolf's Pride, short but tender. That is short and sweet. Again, there's like a lot of melody here, but again, it's all like, I really haven't been able to think of a single bit of context for any of this stuff. Like, it's all been very, again, it's all been mood setting rather than like intention or characterization per se. It's really interesting. Well, that being said, now we're finally reaching the battle themes. This is for normal battles. Shoji Meguro does not miss. This is called Hunting. I love how in this particular, so that's the first moment that I've really felt like that's about a character confidence. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, it's a battle theme as well, but I like how to me, the electric guitar represents the doubling down, the engaging with the enemy, the planting your feet, both feet flat on the floor, and saying, you know what, like, I'm gonna do this, right? Also, the momentum, of course, has that battle integrity to it. There's a little bit of an edge to it as well. Yeah, I like how it had so much energy, and the energy wasn't like optimistic or positive. It has this real like bite to it. You know, it's real like sort of. I think the electric guitar adds a layer of showing teeth that I really like. I really like that. That was. But let me listen to Surprise Ray. This is the ambush theme. Caught with your pants down. Hey, what's up, Ismail? Where are you? Here you are. Surprise read. Hello. It's interesting how this is pulled back. Gorgeous harmony there. Also, the slight echo is really cool too. Yeah, it's nice. I actually like that version better than Hunting. So this is Compulsion. A guitar is so filthy you don't want the boss battle to end. Yeah, that's fun. Let's talk about riffs. That's amazing. Also, guys, I think we're gonna finish up Digital Devil Saga, but I probably won't be able to get to one shot just because it's already 5:30. So what I'll do is I will come back. I have to look at my schedule, but I believe we'll get to one shot. Not tomorrow's Halo Reach, but Halo Reach is pretty short, so I might be able to do it a 2-for-1 tomorrow. So I'll keep you posted on one shot. So if you're here for one shot, I probably won't be able to get to it today just because I want to have dinner and go to bed at a decent hour. If I stream until 8, then I won't have the energy to, comrades. In Persona, you make friends. In Shin Megami Tensei, you killed your friends. It's 5:30 a.m. here. Oh boy, that's early. There's a ton of brutality in that. There's a real bite, Obviously, it says kill your friends. I don't know what it entails, but. I love this. There's just a really amazing sense of energy in that. There's just this sense of like power, adrenaline, but also confidence. I mean, I think really the electric guitar in that, what a sick riff. It's really hard to talk about this, Fjord specifically, because it's so much fun to listen to. It's really difficult to be like, oh, well, this makes me think of this, because it's such like a deep vibe through all of this. It's a really sick piece. It's weird because there's this the in-betweens are sort of almost feel redundant compared to the incredible melody and the riff and the sense of power that comes from that. So that's my one thing, is that you have these gorgeous hills, and then the low part is just sort of stagnant. and then we go back up, and then we, we have like two sets of mountains, and in between there's just this kind of like stillness, which could be contextually a perfectly valid thing to do, but I would say is that like one of the detriments of the piece is that it doesn't necessarily fill out the space. It's funny because like rhythmically and musically, it's a great piece. It makes a lot of sense. It's energetic. It's powerful. There's a sense of like heft and weight and scale, but the downtime is just a little flat. So that's my thought on that. Let's listen to Rare Devil, the theme of rare enemies escaping on you. Atlas tradition, sure is. Nice syncopation there. Yeah, it probably related to a loop, 1,000,000%. I like that. Relief, the victory theme. Hello? That's the victory theme? That's funny. That there's nothing relieving about that. That's hilarious. Okay. Big Battle. Big Battle refers to choking riffs. This track spits back at you. Okay. Just this incessant movement. Hey, Desker. No, I haven't played Genshin in oh gosh, a year plus. Classical music popping its head through the door and waving before being pushed outside by a guitar riff. But welcome in. Hey, Nate. I read the wrong description. I did, you're right. This one's the one about spitting. Yeah, you're right. I was confused. Oh, that's really good. It's going, dude. Nate, just vibing. I gotta say, I think this might be my favorite piece of the night. Fjord and gang. This is really, I really liked the energy in that a ton. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. Classical music popping its head through the door and waving before being pushed. Okay, this is Maelstrom. Hi, Speen. Big battle. Which one is this one? This is Maelstrom. Maelstrom. There it is. You know, I like that piece, but I didn't really go anywhere. I have to say I wasn't crazy about that. Also, God, my ear is really changing too when we talk about like string sections and stuff. The less that there is like real, it's weird. The strings just sound hollow, and the fake quality in them. Like, I mean, I get where they were going. Obviously, ba-da, 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 that's like tension, drama, so on and so forth. But it didn't captivate me very much. Harihara, philosophical term returning to the dual representation of Vishnu and Shiva as different aspects of the same ultimate reality. Ooh, yeah, that's really fun. That one's really fun. Tons of energy there, just like absolutely, just like visceral stuff. I mean, the whole soundtrack has been super visceral, but that one in particular really leaned into this like bite. I know I've said that multiple times, but like there's a real, especially in the upper register. Ba, I mean the melody ba da da ya ba da da ya ya da da da. There's an edge to it, pretty much the entire time, and even though it's super repetitive, it really is really satisfying to listen to. Harihara, second movement. It's the killer. Do not die. Wait, wrong game. The final boss. The final phase. Gotta have organ, of course. I like the heft in this piece. It really reminds me. Really reminds me of what are they called? Oh my god, Rage Against the Machine. The build-up is kind of odd. I don't love the build-up. It feels a little bit... Again, I mean, it makes sense in context, so... It's kind of like, okay, and what else? This part's cool. It's just these like micro movements. Descending scale. That said, it had a lot of energy to it. I really like it. And again, like there it really felt, because it was kind of slower actually, there was so much more stress and it was a lot more palpable. And it left me with a feeling of like, damn, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like there was a little bit more intensity or fear. At the end of it all, this is Surely Again. Surely Again. Surely Again. There's that jazz piano back. Oh my god, that's nice. Fuck. Nice, so like really coming together. Oh man, see, like what the fuck? Like that ends so short. It's like it takes forever to build up and then it doesn't go anywhere. That's disappointing. There's like so much more that I want to hear with that. It must loop or something, but man, okay. The rain stopped. Some calm piano to close out this list with a sequel hook. So wait, right off the bat, just like a quick thought. It's also funny how this is one of the least played of the list. Something that's really interesting here is that this is the only time we really have piano. I mean, it's in the background sometimes, but this is like the only time that we have this stillness, you know, and sort of like a sense of space or breath. Bye, Nate. Thanks as always for stopping by. That's such a different tonal perspective from... It's all, it almost feels like emerging from the it's emerging from the darkness. It's coming out through the darkness and seeing just, well, obviously the rain stopped. So for a moment the sun shines, and that's really the thing that stands out to me, is that it's very, very peaceful and very elegant compared to the rest of the soundtrack, which is grungy heavy. It's almost as if we're in like a mechanical, like, sort of... There's a scene in JJK. I don't know how many of you have watched Jujutsu Kaisen. I've started watching it recently, and they go into this apartment, and when they go in, it ends up being the domain of a special class, whatever the fuck, and the whole thing is like rusted out, and there's pipes, and like they go into the dorm thing. It's just going to be like an apartment complex / dorm. Ends up being this, like, pipes and metal, and that's pretty much what the entire soundtrack sounds like. Hey, Adamori. Whereas this, for the first time ever, is just like the wind is blowing. There's a sense of tranquility in it, We get some flutes and shit, Nice. Hey, Joel. Congrats, 11 months. Appreciate you very much. Some doubling with like that oboe sound. Okay, now we go back to our sound that we know. Yeah, dude, hold on one sec. The main theme of JJK is so damn good. That's really nice. The doubling down. See, that's the... See, there's the rub. It never stops. It continues on. And you're right. There's a little teaser there for the next one, because it pivots back and it's like you think everything's okay. Well, surprise, here's the musical shift, obviously, which is really interesting. I mean, I would say overall this was a very fun listen. There were some tracks that I really, really enjoyed. I'd especially say like the front half. I started to get a little bit of maybe ear fatigue, or certainly a little bit of like, okay, this is very much the same thing. Probably around track, I don't know, maybe 30. That said, Hunting Comrades, Maludara, Svaritsvana, Sonic Wave, Spider String 1, less so 2, Hunting Field Second Movement, The Rain Stopped, Harihara. I'd say both, probably leaning more towards the second one, were probably my favorite of the tracks if we're looking at it like a full package. Definitely enjoyed the beginning, Prey, Seraphita, Sahara. So I mean, overall I would say like there were at least 15 tracks that I really, really enjoyed, like really felt connected to and was listening to. Really nice. It was a great exploration on, I mean, SMT and the spin-offs and Raido and Persona and Shoji Meguro in general, even Metaphor. I mean, like they're so expansive, and in a large part of it is because of the musical language that's underneath them. I will say that what I really liked about this soundtrack is that for the most part, even though it had intensity within the guitar and in the like movement, it was very stable. It didn't move from left to right sharply. It didn't have these big leaps like I mentioned earlier. The structure of these was very, very, very listenable. I wasn't getting whiplash, which I actually think was kind of a remark on how even and consistent the soundtrack is, right? Because so often in modern soundtracks, we go from left to right, and in between there's like 8 different songs, and all of them are different emotion, different intensity, almost a different composer. Which is why sometimes with these remixes, they don't necessarily land, because there's such a variety in the soundscape. Hey girl, what's up? So overall, I would say like what I really, really stood out to me 45 tracks later is that there was a cohesiveness throughout each of the pieces. Now, does that mean that some of these pieces are absolutely forgettable? Probably. And that's okay. Because ultimately, the purpose is to connect us to the game experience and have us feeling however we're feeling by the end of it, right? But I do think that there is a lot to enjoy and a lot to digest here. There's some really nice use of melody. I wish I had written down the pieces that I really, really, really connected to, but there were a couple that I was like, absolutely, that is a killer melody. Even though it's rhythmic and intense and punchy and bitey and has a lot of that grunge early thousands aesthetic, which crazy enough was literally 20 years ago, which I just put 2 and 2 together. 2004 or 5 is literally 20 years ago. No, wait. Yeah, that sucks. So feels like yesterday. It's not. I was graduating high school. So, this was definitely not in my radar at all back then. I was too busy playing like GTA 3. I feel like Digital Devil Saga, it was absolutely like a niche game experience that you either knew about or you didn't, or like you found out about it in a really random way. I played very, very, very pedestrian games. I mean, if you want to be like weird. Yeah, like I feel like I was playing like mainstream, and DDS was not even remotely on my list. DDS OST being stable in one note blends into the story of the game, Marco. Can't say more without spoiling. Crazy. Very interesting. But overall, I mean, I felt that it was really worth listening to. I really felt like I learned something today, and it was really fun. Thank you so much, Fjord. I'm looking at my schedule right now. for one shot. So we'll have to, we have a lot of stuff to get through this month still. Hard to believe how fast these days just go by. In a way, as much as I'm sad to not be going to TennoCon because of my back, which is thankfully doing a bit better, but it's touch and go each day, which is kind of a bummer. This weird ass muscle, I'm trying to stand as straight as possible. Thankfully that enables me to have a little bit more time. So my hope is to get this one shot OST listen done on the 21st, and next week will be a big OST listen week, so that the final week of the month is a little bit more dialed back. Yeah, that's the game plan. Yeah, we'll be watching TennoCon on the concert on the 18th in the evening at 8 p.m. And then I'm hoping to watch at least the live letter, or the live letter, that's Final Fantasy XIV, the dev showcase on the 19th, just because I am very excited about where we're going for the next update. I was not a crazy into Warframe 1999, but I still really love what they do, and it's always fun to pop into Warframe for half hour, 45 minutes, an hour every other day or so. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Fjord, thank you so much for supporting the channel the way you have. Yeah, thank you very much. It's just some muscular. I just have to be straight and stable in my body and stuff. Yeah, we'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you, and talk to you later. Bye.